10 minutes ago, Boone's a lovely town. We've been here for a couple days, and for those that did a double take when they saw that Miami is at Appalachian State, well, here is your proof. It's the biggest sporting event ever in Boone, North Carolina, as a ranked team visits Kid Brewer Stadium for the first time. Also known as The Rock, this venue seats about 22,000, but today, more than 35,000, including standing room only, perhaps even some wild animals making their way down from Howard's Knob here to watch this one. And with Lee putting on that Cardinal, that's an upset. Many think if App State wins this game, it would not be an upset based on what the Mountaineers did a couple weeks ago, losing on the road in overtime to Tennessee. Temperature in the mid-70s, a beautiful day. Miami won the toss. Mark Richt, first time that a lot of people are seeing Mark Richt on the sideline. Last couple weeks playing FAU and Florida A&M. So a chance for the nation to see how good Miami is. 2-0 record and a ranking of 25 going into today's game. Scott Satterfield has spent most of his life at Appalachian State. He played here, was an assistant here for a long time, part of 3 national championships during their FCS days. And then last year, in his 4th season as head coach, they won 11 games. They were the first school to win a bowl game in their first full year in FBS. So Miami defers. Appalachian State will start on offense. Michael Badgley to kick it deep. Barber and Capel for the Mountaineers. It's a touchback, and so Appalachian State will start on the 25. With Greg McElroy, I'm Dave Pasch. Tom Luganville will join us in a bit. But the last time that Appalachian State had a home game on ESPN, my partner here wasn't even born. It was 1979. Look, this is a big deal, right? Miami, blue chip program, great history, ranked team playing here. But it's also a big deal because App State's pretty good, as we saw a couple weeks ago.
Very good. They know they can play with the big boys, and they have already this season on the road in Knoxville against Tennessee. Went to overtime in that game, was an extra point away from winning it in regulation. So they know they belong. They're ready to prove it here today against the Hurricanes.
So they'll start from the 25-yard line. And there's a handoff to Marcus Cox, and he's got some running room to the 32-yard line. Cox, a 1,000-yard running back each of the last 3 seasons. Their quarterback each of the last 3 seasons is Taylor Lamb, son of a coach. Bobby is the head guy at Mercer. His mom, Allison, works here in Boone as a photographer for Appalachian State.
Has tremendous poise. This team plays well in big games because he's so steady as their leader on the offensive side of the football.
7 yards on 1st and 10, and here's Cox again. And stood up short of the marker. And some pushing and shoving afterwards. These two schools were going at it in pregame. See the numbers for Lamb this season. Hasn't played great this year, but last year, 31 touchdowns passing, 5 rushing scores, only 9 interceptions. Makes really good decisions.
And I think the biggest thing for him is his decision-making in the run game. Throwing the football, yeah, they'll do it every once in a while, about a third of the time here for Appalachian State, but he's really good when it comes to zone reads, especially in critical down and distances like this, 3rd and 2. Look for a run right down the middle here for App State.
So 3 straight handoffs to Cox, and they get the first down. Ball on the ground, but they're going to say that Cox was down. They blew it dead. Rayshawn Jenkins forced the ball out, but rolling in the field as Cox is down. Look, that's big. This place is jacked. Everybody's fired up. And you just run straight handoffs the first 3 plays.
They won the line of scrimmage against Tennessee, so they know they can push at the point. Right here, it looks like they're going to take a review.
ACC officials today. Replay crew from the SEC.
We're going to have a peek at it. I think the question is, was forward progress stopped? Did the whistle occur prior to the ball coming out? Based on the reaction of just about everybody, it seemed like he had slowed it down and the whistle had blown, but Jamarcus Cox, you got to double over the football. I don't care. Play to the ground.
And see there,
ball is clearly out.
And he's landing on a player, too. He's on Jenkins. Hard to tell if his leg was on the ground. Again, the ruling in the field, though, is he was down. So you have to have indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
The play's going to stand. I think they're realizing that forward progress had been stopped. Right there, Marcus Cox, one of the most outstanding running backs here in the Sun Belt Conference, has to do a better job understanding and playing all the way through the whistle.
You think about it, you got 13 players so far in FBS that have rushed for 100 yards in each of the last 2 games. 3 of them are in this game, including Cox, and then 2 players on Miami. So a fresh set of downs for Appalachian State, a pass play for Lamb, and he overshoots the intended receiver, Duffield.
Just a miss there, maybe some early jitters from Taylor Lamb. You take your tight end, your best target off of play action. But Greg, they have run one run play out of a bunch of different looks. This is not complicated. A lot of window dressing. Scott Satterfield, the offensive coordinator and head coach, says, hey, we practice 2 plays. That's all we do.
And look, they're slowing the tempo, too. They want to extend their drives, make sure they eat as much clock as possible to give them a chance.
2nd down and 10. Bouncing off one man is Cox and plowing forward to the 40. Gain of about 3 on the play. 3rd down.
And Luke's right here. The throw on 1st down kind of set them behind the chains.
Yep.
This Appalachian State team, they want to major in running the football. 3rd and 7 is exactly what they don't want to be in, and now their starting center having to come off Parker Collins because his helmet came off.
Yeah, by rule, you got to come out for a down. So Tobias Edge Campbell is in the game to replace him here. Got a snap to the shotgun on 3rd and long. And a Miami defender was offside, so a free play and a near pick. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Michael Jackson had to go through his hands, but R.J. McIntosh jumped into the neutral zone for the Canes.
Pretty good job by the backup center, by the way. Still getting an accurate snap even after being touched by R.J. McIntosh right there. That's not easy. You go in for one play and you get hit before the play even starts. Well done by Tobias Edge Campbell.
And now Collins comes back in. Still don't have a 1st down yet. 3rd and 2 on their 45-yard line.
This is where they want to be, though. 3rd and 2, no doubt about it.
And they're going to hit it right downhill. You know where it's going to if you're a defender.
At pistol formation, and now flag the other way. False start in Appalachian State. So back to 3rd and 7.
Very unfortunate penalty right there. Miami so far through 2 games has done a great job in regards to field position. Their defense last week on 3rd down started out not giving up a single one. FAU was 0 for 11 starting the game on 3rd down. Already App State 1 for 1, trying to convert here in a difficult spot. 3rd and 7 in a run-heavy offense.
4-man rush. Lamb stepping up, trying to run for it. He gets slammed to the ground, well short of the 1st down. Michael Pinckney, one of 3 true freshmen, starting at linebacker for Miami on the stop to force a punt here on 4th.
Good job by the Miami defense right there. They only rushed 3. Miami defense and defensive coordinator Manny Diaz opting to force Taylor Lamb to throw it into a tight window. There was nothing there. He had no option but to go north and south, and obviously forcing a 4th down punt.
So Bentley Critcher will boot it deep to Braxton Berrios. That's a short punt. And fair caught at the 20-yard line. So only a 37-yard boot, no return. Miami on offense for the first time when we come back. 3 minutes in here in Boone. Boone, North Carolina, located in the Blue Ridge Mountains of western North Carolina, about 100 miles from Charlotte. The town was named after American pioneer and explorer Daniel Boone. And the population is about 18,000. The school record for a game attendance is 31,531 set in 2010. We're going to break that here today. Notable alumni include country singer Eric Church, Pelicans head coach Alvin Gentry, Ronald Blair, a player that the Mountaineers lost off of last year's team, is now in the NFL with the 49ers. There's a street high above the stadium, and there's the gate that keeps fans out, but they can actually see about half the field anyway from that spot. Not sure they can see where Miami's operating from the 20-yard line. On first down, Walton with a beautiful play, breaking a tackle. Everybody stopped in Appalachian State, and Walton will take it all the way on the first play for the Canes. That is the 6th touchdown already this season for Mark Walton, and it looked like it was going to be a great play by Appalachian State at the point of attack by A.J. Howard. But Walton kept going and took it 80 yards. Seven 0 Miami.
And this is perfectly dialed up defensively. Every gap is accounted for. It is just a power play right downhill. Clearly Miami trying to set the tone. You see it right there. Number 10, A.J. Howard, comes in, fills, doesn't wrap up. Next thing you know, Mark Walton is scooting for a long touchdown run. And that's just, you got to drive through. Don't duck your head. Poor fundamentals defensively, but a great run by Mark Walton. I think this is the start that Miami needed.
I agree.
Last week, didn't get on the scoreboard until the middle of the second quarter. This atmosphere has been absolutely crazy for the last few days. Miami, in order to quiet the crowd and make them sit on their hands a little bit, needed to get off to a good start. Nice run by Mark Walton, but very disappointing defensive effort from A.J. Howard and App State.
And we talked about how we're going to learn something about Appalachian State today. We're going to learn a lot about Miami today. Is this Hurricane team under Mark Richt? Again, they've been looking for the right head coach since Butch Davis left. And Al Golden last year was fired in October. And they finished the year with just 8 wins. Richt let go by Georgia, trying to resurrect the program. Capel takes a knee, and we say hello to Adnan Virk in the studio. Wait a second now. Louisville's up 7-0. My two guys here think Florida State's going to roll today. You changing your mind?
It's early. It's early.
A lot of ball to be played, boys.
I think Ole Miss was up big in the first game of the year against Florida State, too. They're a second-half football team.
So another start on the 25 for Appalachian State. First time the Mountaineers have trailed this year. And Lamb to throw on first down. And that was ugly. Try to hit Barrett Burns. You wonder with Lamb how much of this is nerves. Now, he's played in big games, obviously Tennessee a couple weeks ago. But it's home, it's different. It's all anybody's talked about this entire week. I'll forget that, this entire 6 months since it was announced that Miami was coming here, and it's sold out in less than an hour.
That's a quarterback, though. If you're feeling some nerves, feeling some jitters, you're usually going to miss high, not low. So I don't think that's affecting him right now.
Here's Cox straight ahead. And he's upended at the 30-yard line, picking up 5. Give him the third and manageable here, 3rd and 5.
No, Greg, with the success that App State was having on early downs running the football, really surprised they came out and threw it right there. Until Miami proves they can stop the inside and outside zone, keep taking it at the teeth of this Miami defense, and now they find themselves in a 3rd and 5 because of that first down choice.
With you 100%. Now you're playing behind the sticks, and you're once again in a passing situation. Now we've seen App State run it on this down before, Lugs, but it's tough against a stout Miami defense.
And again, a Miami defender jumps into the neutral zone. Lamb throwing it up for grabs. There's another flag. And some talking after the play. between Metters and Redwine. The 2 fouls, both would appear to be against Miami. Chad Thomas was offside.
We have 2 fouls on the play, offside defense. That penalty will be declined. We also have pass interference defense. 15, spot foul, automatic first down.
An obvious call right here by the official. Smart play, too, by Taylor Lamb, knowing it's a free down. Throw it up down the field. Yeah, that's pass interference. Riding him out of bounds. That right arm engaged entirely too long.
Greg, are you taught this as a quarterback in those situations? Throw it up for grabs, hope you get another flag since you got a free play?
You're taught that, but you don't always execute it. You need a quarterback that's played a lot of games, 26 to be exact for Taylor Lamb in consecutive starts.
Here's Cox again, and a big hole past midfield, close to the first down. Gerald Willis, a transfer from Florida, made the tackle, but 9 yards downfield.
Lugs, Cox really does a good job hitting the hole. His track is always consistent on some of those outside zone plays, but he's willing to put that foot in the ground and go north and south immediately.
No dancing. That one plant foot and those shoulders are square. Hey, inside outside zone, that's all we're seeing right now.
He had 100 yards last week in the first half, had 3 touchdowns, 6th time in his career he's had 3. Here's Cox on 2nd and 1. Gets spun down, but appeared to move the sticks.
I think Miami repped that play a couple times in practice. The downhill vertical ISO. They not only had a guy to tackle the running back, but there was a defender on the outside getting ready to tee off right on Taylor Lamb, the quarterback.
Manny Diaz, first year at Miami. He was the D coordinator at Mississippi State last year. So 1st and 10 on the Miami 45-yard line. Pressure coming from Miami. Lamb rolling away from it, throwing into traffic, and it's pulled in, but out of bounds. Deltron Hopkins, a Miami native, went to high school with several of the guys on the Hurricane roster, was out of play.
It's a well-thrown football. You see that left foot right on the line. Still didn't have possession. It's a good job by the official. The first accurate throw we've seen from Taylor Lamb so far, though, so maybe that throw right there gives him a little confidence now as they cross into Hurricanes territory. And Lugs, you see this Miami secondary. They're very close to the line of scrimmage. Very aggressive front is what Manny Diaz has been preaching.
Here's Cox off the right side, swarmed at the line of scrimmage. Chad Thomas there first, but there is a penalty marker down.
Over an illegal chop block. Offense, number 74, number 66. It's a 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So that's on the left side of the line for Appalachian State. Victor Johnson, a redshirt freshman left tackle, and then a senior left guard, Jamie Colmar. Had the defender engaged.
Have a look at Scott Satterfield. Obviously former quarterback, knows the culture here at App State and has done a really good job continuing on the tradition they've built over the last 2 decades here in Boone.
Hopefully Mountaineer fans will appreciate that it took us till 9:25 on the clock to mention the Michigan game. We lasted 5.5 minutes before bringing up 2007, just so people know that there are more accolades than just the Michigan win for Appalachian State. Some confusion. Looks like a timeout call here by App State on 2nd and 25.
Timeout. Appalachian State. That's their first charge timeout.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA, and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Scott Satterfield at the pep rally last night. I don't think any of those people went to sleep. When we left yesterday, I saw the same faces as when we came in, and they were in the same spot. This is earlier. These are the guys bringing the game balls. That's a way to enter a stadium.
How cool is that, man? Tell you what, they were on a pretty deep dive, a deep ascent. Well done here in the mountains. He landed it on the button, too, right on the 50-yard line.
7-0 Miami. Appalachian State facing a 2nd and 25. Lamb off play action and through the hands of the receiver, Jaquil Capel. Would have gotten a chunk of it back. Instead, it's 3rd down and 25.
An accurate throw right here, just trying to get some of it back. Good decision. Just got to look it through. Capel thinking about running before he catches the football. Secure it first, big man.
Again, just one play run by Miami. 80-yard touchdown run by Walton on the first play for the Canes.
Miami, I mean, 3rd and 25. I think they're going to drop out of there, but they're showing blitz.
Yep, they only rush 4 here. Lamb over the middle, nearly picked off. The receiver was still running. The pass was thrown underneath, and Jamal Carter had a chance to get the pick. Instead, it's a punt for App State.
Penalties kill you in these type of situations. Look, Miami's defense has been lights out through 8 quarters. 4 against FAMU, FAU last week. This defense is exceptional on 3rd down, and they make you see ghosts in the front because of all the twists and games they do.
I'm just wondering, though, how much what we're seeing is mental. Appalachian State did not look like this early at Tennessee. As a penalty marker is down on the punt. And Berrios has to scoop it up, and he gets a block. There's too many Mountaineers down there. They eventually get Berrios to the ground at the 26. We'll see what the penalty marker is for. 45-yard punt, 10-yard return. If it holds up.
Illegal formation. Offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. That's a 5-yard penalty. Added to the end of the kick. 1st down.
All right, let's go to Adnan in the studio. You have 3 ACC teams, Adnan, playing right now that are in the top 10. Of course, Florida State, Louisville playing each other, Clemson, and then you got another ranked ACC team here in Miami, leading 7-0. Junior quarterback Brad Kaya had a 2-interception game last week. First time he's done that in 2 years. He throws it out here to the flat to Dale Harris, and it's a gain of 4 yards on the play. Kaya from Los Angeles, California. He is 5th all-time in career passing yards at Miami. You think of all the greats that have played at Miami. He's got 2 years to go. Former Rookie of the Year in the conference. They'll hand it off here. A lot of running room. Walton just short of the marker. 3rd and 1. Eric Boggs on the stop. What are your thoughts on Kaya when you've watched him so far this year, Chris?
When he's been given a pocket to throw the football, he is outstanding. I mean, he's got a strong arm, quick release, very accurate. And trying to get him into a rhythm with a little swing pass here on a bubble route.
And Harris to midfield, so they pick up the 1st down, gain of 10.
Last week, he started 3 for 12 with an interception. Tried some throws down the field, missed a few. When he got in a rhythm, it was on these bubble passes, so they're starting now, getting them going.
Some tempo. Here it is again. And it's Harris again breaking a tackle and getting the 1st down. So Dale Harris had 1 catch the first 2 weeks of the season. And clearly, either he did something in practice to impress the coaches, or they saw something on film getting him out in space. They haven't been able to tackle him yet.
And tempo for Miami. Rare to see that.
Here's Joe Yearby, the number 2 running back, but like Walton, is over 200 rushing yards already this season.
Greg, Dave, App State struggling to line up and get their proper personnel on the field. You see the tempo taking its toll, and it's become easy. App's trying to load the box, so what do? Throw it on the perimeter.
Meanwhile, Appalachian State trying to get that 12th guy off the field. Mark Richt upset that Kaya didn't snap the ball. Here's true freshman Amon Richards down the sideline, picking up the 1st down to the 25.
See these bubble routes over and over and over again. That's because the nickel defender is stretched towards the offensive line and the running back because they're concerned about the running game. Right now, you have pitch and catch to the wide receivers all day long.
Another swing pass. They got numbers out there. Richards close to the first down. They just keep throwing the same routes here. It's the same play this entire drive.
You don't go broke putting money in the bank. I mean, completion, completion, completion. They're really stressing that Will linebacker because he wants to be accountable in the run game. Therefore, he can't cover the bubble route.
Mark Richt calling plays. Said he's struggled at times to spit it out. It's been so long since he's done it, but when he took the job here as the head coach, his alma mater, as a backup quarterback here to Jim Kelly, said he wanted to call plays as well.
Said he's knocking some rust off, but they've scored 108 points in the first 2 games. I think he's doing just fine.
Play action here for Kaya, unloading, and it's dropped in the end zone. Stacy Coley couldn't hang on.
They kind of rock you to sleep, and then sure enough, here comes play action. The safeties are involved in the run game. You get one-on-one on the outside. Pretty good throw right there from Brad Kaya. Got to catch that football, but good coverage on the play by Mondo Williams. That was just well executed by both guys. Just finished the catch, and it's a touchdown for the Canes.
Yerby straight on, got tripped up. And if Eric Boggs doesn't stick a hand out there and get the shoelaces of Joe Yerby, he probably scores. So third down here, 3rd and 5 on the 9-yard line.
The App State defense is really good in the red zone. 2nd in the country last year when it came to red zone defense. They practice it every day. They love getting in situations like this. Expect some pressure from the App State defense and defensive coordinator Nate Woody.
Kaya off play action to the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Penalty marker down. David Njoku with the touchdown catch. If it stands.
Holding. Number 10 defense. By rule, that penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So that shuts up the Appalachian State faithful, hoping for a big start for their team. Instead, Miami with big plays. Well, big play really on the first drive, and then just dink and dunk down the field here on this second scoring drive. 10 plays, 69 yards. Kai with his 5th touchdown pass. The Njoku was definitely in. They were just looking to make sure that he got that foot down and had possession. So it is 14-0 Miami.
Brad Kaya last week got hit almost every passing attempt. Clean pocket right now. He's picking them apart. Great high ball in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Hurricanes.
He's the most dynamic player in college football. Christian McCaffrey, must-watch TV. Stanford, USC tonight. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo on ABC. I didn't hear rebuttal, so you agree that he's the most dynamic player in college football?
He's one of my favorites to watch, I can assure you. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands, whether it's on a punt, handoff out of the backfield, return game, you name it. When he's got the ball, it's must-watch television.
Short kickoff. And boy, Capel could have just taken a knee. Instead, he runs it out and gets close to the 25, brought down to the 22.
All right, they ran a bunch of bubbles on this last drive, 5 to be exact. I want to show you why it works. Look at the green grass to the outside. The defenders are still trying to get the signal from the sideline. Brad Kaya just plays pitch and catch. Sure enough, easy 10-yard gain for the Hurricanes. And then you see, look at the flat top defense right here. And then I want you to look at the route by Njoku. He's right out the back of the end zone. It's all she wrote. Flat top defense, flat-footed. You know you got to win over the top. Great execution, great catch, great throw. Great call, Mark Richt.
And let's see now how App State rebounds. Here's Cox, And Cox has running room past the 30-yard line. Cox is free. Trying to outrun the Canes. He will. Touchdown, Appalachian State.
Yep.
79 yards. There is a penalty flag down.
Number 6, offense.
Wow.
10-yard penalty, first down.
Holding on a wide receiver out there blocking Shaden Metters. And Cox was injured on the play. So a double whammy. Touchdown is negated, and your best player's hurt.
Wow. Man-to-man coverage on the outside, too. All you got to do is run them off.
Yeah, it's a
bad absolutely
mistake
a
by
hold
Metters.
right there by the left hand. You saw him hold just a little bit too long. Really bad mistake. All you had to do is run 100 yards down the field, and that cornerback will chase you. He's in man-to-man coverage.
Let's see Elder dragging down Cox. He landed right on him. So now Cox on the sideline, and instead of it being 14-7, it's 2nd and 29. Here's the backup, Jalen Moore, and he's tackled for a loss of 3 by Michael Pinckney.
Good job by Pinckney right there. First time we call his name. He's a freshman. All linebackers, Lugs, for this Miami team that have started the last couple games, all true freshmen. Impressive stuff.
And all 3 are early enrollees, so they're not wide-eyed true freshmen. They had a taste of it. If I'm Miami, I got orange pants on, I'm putting 8 and 9 in the box, and I'm daring App State to throw it.
That's been the approach so far.
Check, the last one was 1st and 10 after the flag. This is 2nd and 4, and it's a first down for Barber. Out near the 40-yard line. Actually going to mark him out at the 35.
That's a good play by Scott Satterfield. Good play call to get the triple option involved. You're not doing a ton on your zone reads between the tackles. Now get on the perimeter because Miami is trying to shut down everything that's run from right tackle to left tackle, and they've done a decent job of it with the exception of obviously the long touchdown that was called back.
And Cox has not returned yet, so Jalen Moore still in at running back. And here's Moore, another tackle for a loss as we check in with Adnan. Also saw, Adnan, that it's 14-zip Louisville over Florida State early on, as the trainers for Appalachian State still looking at Marcus Cox. Meanwhile, 2nd and 13, the Mountaineers down 14 points. Lamb, and wide open is Barrett Burns, knocked out of bounds near the 40. You know, Greg and Tom, we said, how will Appalachian State respond? Well, they go 79 yards for a touchdown. You think you're back in it, then the play is called back. So what's your psyche right now if you're a player?
Well, I'm thinking about 3rd down. Right now, I want to stay on the field naturally, but that does really hurt you mentally after a long play. You realize you made a mistake. This is a poised group, though. Returned a lot of starters that have played a lot of football. They won't be fazed by the mistake that was made on the perimeter.
It's a big 3rd down. Need something good to happen here if you're Appalachian State. Miami bringing pressure, and it's nearly an interception. Barber, the intended receiver. Corn Elder stepped in front. That'd have been a pick 6 if he would have corralled that one. 4th down.
And a missed throw right here from Taylor Lamb. You see he's a little late. You see that second hitch? As a result, it gives Corn Elder a chance to break on it. He was very fortunate, Taylor Lamb was, because I think he was about to have to chase Corn Elder to the pylon. Not a good throw and not a good start for this App State offense so far. Need to put a drive together next time they get the ball to get this crowd back into it.
Braxton Berrios is deep for Miami. And a horrific punt. Man, everything going wrong for the Mountaineers. They're going to spot that near the 40-yard line. Actually, it looks like the 33 is where they're going to spot it. Week 2 Monday Night Football matchup. Carson Wentz, who played well Week 1 for the Eagles, back at it against the Chicago Bears. 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6. Boy, that was a 27-yard punt. And if you're Appalachian State right now, I know there's 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, but this is a must-stop. You get down 21, this baby's over. You've got to stop and get the ball back.
Especially when you're a team that's built to play with the lead. You're a running football team. You run it 2/3 of the time. Need your defense, who returns 8 starters from last year, need them to step up here in a critical drive.
Brad Kaya in a rhythm after that last drive. Going downfield and got a man, but he overshot him. Tried to hit Amon Richards. Clifton Duck, a freshman, was running with the true freshman for Miami.
See, I mean, they are not taking their foot off the gas pedal. Miami, tempo last drive, early shot, first play of the drive now coming out.
And a penalty marker down. The Mountaineers had like 15 guys on the field again. Mark Richt last time was upset that Kaya didn't snap the ball early to draw the foul. This time they get the illegal substitution infraction.
Hey, Dave, this is communication not on the sideline for App State, on the field. The players aren't looking to the sideline for their substitutions. So the guy coming off the sideline, he's ready to roll. The guy that's supposed to be looking to the sideline to come off isn't paying attention.
And they're just substituting one guy at a time, Luke.
Right.
Surprising that they're not on the same page from a communication standpoint.
A lot of mental lapses today for Appalachian State. Out in the flat it goes. And a first down grab to the 45-yard line for Njoku, who had the touchdown in the last possession for Miami. Nate Woody, the defensive coordinator for Appalachian State, they held Tennessee to 300 yards in regulation. It was an entirely different game the way Appalachian State played in that first quarter against Tennessee and what we're seeing here today. Walton ripped to the ground after a short gain. It's Nathaniel Norwood getting him to the turf. 2nd and 8.
Those are the plays Mountaineers have to make. See Marcus Cox, their talented running back, seems to have hurt his left quad with the ice bag on there now. Hopefully he's okay.
Crowd starting to get fired back up again as Kaya dumps it off to Walton. A big hit out there in space. It's Clifton Duck meeting the back at the 45-yard line for no gain.
Really well done by Clifton Duck. True freshman, only 175 pounds, bringing the wood right there on the ball carrier. Now 3rd and 9. You hear the noise starting to amplify a little bit here at the Rock. Expect App State to pin their ears back and try to come after Brad Kaya.
18,000 in the town and everybody's here. Kaya, wow, wide open is Coley. Coley literally walks in for the Hurricane touchdown. "55-yard strike on 3rd and long, and again it's a mental error by Appalachian State defensively. And the players probably join the fans in that they just don't know what to think right now. They've been waiting for this game. Even Scott Satterfield told us he knows how important this game is for the program. Said it was just not a regular game. It meant something more to his players. But they are not on the same page in this game, leaving Coley wide open for an easy touchdown. It is all Miami late first. Up your Week 2 NFL Sunday on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern with NFL Insider's Sunday Edition. All the injury news, fantasy updates, and more. Then at 11, the new Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman, Trent Dilfer, Charles Woodson, Matt Hasselbeck, Randy Moss take you right up to kickoff. How many think Brad Kaya will be playing in the NFL in a couple years? He's been sharp so far in this game. 2 touchdown passes here in the first quarter. Short kickoff. And finally, App State has something good happen. A kickoff goes out of bounds. Take a look at the last drive, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Just a busted coverage. Not much else to tell you about. Take a look. Mondo Williams. He's supposed to be responsible. Anything deep, you got to ride it. There's nothing threatening short. The safety, who they need to be on the same page, he might be the one that's supposed to come outside. Either way, Mondo Williams and the safety, A.J. Howard, nobody home. Big touchdown for Miami on just a busted coverage. It's surprising, Luke, to see a team that's played in big games before make so many mistakes here in the early going.
And communication errors with upperclassmen.
The last drive brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. 21-0 Miami. Lamb in trouble. Takes off. Oh, he gets lit up at the 38-yard line. 3 Hurricanes get into the ground, led by Shaq Quarterman. Michael Jackson there as well. Lamb pops to his feet, but worse for the wear. Look at what Miami's done in the first quarter this year. 35-0. They've outscored their opponents.
None of those points came last week either. They were shut out in the first quarter. On the road, the first quarter is always the most important in my opinion. They have absolutely neutralized a hostile crowd.
Marcus Cox is still on the sideline. His backup Jalen Moore gets the call for about 7. Here's Adnan. Unbelievable. You just never know what you're going to see in college football from game to game. I don't think many thought we'd see this. All the hype and the way Appalachian State played 2 weeks ago at Tennessee. Miami really playing nobody the first 2 weeks of the season, but the Hurricanes have dominated. They scored on their first play from scrimmage, and they haven't stopped. 21-0. Miami in front. On the biggest sporting day in Boone, North Carolina history, the home team unhappy right now. Now tonight, Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. USC, remember, got blown out by Alabama week 1. Last year, Stanford went to Los Angeles, won that game, and at the time, people really didn't know who Christian McCaffrey was and how good Stanford was. They know now. The question is, can the Trojans show something defensively to stay in the game? Here it's 21-0. That was a shot of El Cruces waterfall. Just some beautiful scenery here in Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State on 3rd and 2, and they run Jalen Moore close to the first down. Michael Pinckney with the hit. We're going to mark him short, 4th and 1. And again, Marcus Cox, the star running back for Appalachian State, hurt on a touchdown run that was called back because of a penalty. They had ice on his left leg. Jalen Moore is in, and Appalachian State is going for it. 4th and 1 on its side of the field. Early second quarter. Do you like this move?
It's a little early for me. But given the way your defense is playing, not communicating well, giving up big plays, field position doesn't matter as much.
Lamb in trouble, no shot. Taken down at the 40-yard line by Kendrick Norton. Appalachian State turns it over on downs. I don't think there's any need at this point in the game. You're down 3 scores. It's early to try to go for it on your own side of the field.
You try to go with something. A play that's your bread and butter. Little speed option. Just to find anything offensively. Kendrick Norton does a great job shooting to the backfield.
Just don't understand why you have to go for it. Maybe Scott Satterfield thinks on defense we can't stop him right now, so we absolutely have to score a touchdown in this drive. But you're at your 45-yard line.
And Lugs, I don't understand it. I really don't.
Times you get desperate on that sideline when things aren't going your way.
So Miami takes over, and Kaya finds Coley, and he's tracked down for a short gain, maybe 1 yard there. Coley, a little shaken up after the play.
First time that App State defense has made the adjustment against the bubble route. Now they're walking that extra defender out over the slot receiver, and they bottled it up right there for no gain. Good adjustment from Nate Woody and this defensive staff for App State.
Here's Yearby, able to slip 2 tacklers and get back to the line of scrimmage. And there's an opportunity for Appalachian State to get a guy in the backfield, get something good to go your way, some momentum, and you get 2 guys that miss a tackle in the backfield.
Still setting up a 3rd and long, but last time on the 3rd and long, they had a busted coverage in the secondary. It's important to stay poised in moments like this.
Look at Kai on 3rd down. 3 of 3, 2 touchdown passes on 3rd down. Kaya with time and a diving attempt. He caught it. Braxton Berrios pulls it in for a 1st down.
What a great throw by Brad Kaya. Far hash. Great extension, too, by Braxton Berrios. See that right foot.
Man.
What effort.
But again, Mac, as they're going to review this further, there was no defender near him on 3rd and long.
That's because you don't see quarterbacks in college throwing out routes across the field. That is a 45-yard throw, and Brad Kaya just threw a dime. An absolute dime.
Appalachian State is challenging the ruling.
So they actually weren't going to review that further. So
The ruling on the
Appalachian
field is a completed catch.
So
that play is under review.
So it sounded like Ron Chair initially said that they called a timeout to challenge that. And then he just said the following play is under further review. We'll see if there's a timeout or not. But, man, that looks like a pretty darn good catch. Does he possess it all the way to the ground?
He does. That right foot is down. This play should stand.
Look at Berrios.
Called.
You see him point. He's got the ball in one hand. He basically caught it as he rolled over one hand. He's pointing with his left hand as if to say, I'm in.
I can't get over how good a throw that was. Luke's, you can see very easily why NFL scouts are salivating over what Brad Kaya could eventually become.
Well, he's certainly got the physical stature and the tools, and now he's under the tutelage of a guy that's going to have some multiple pro-style principles to this offense. As you referenced, when do you see the 10 to 12-yard speed cut out anymore in college football?
To the field.
Yeah,
from
it
the
used
far
to be the norm.
hash. Now Marino's making that throw. Brady.
And he did it to a target in Braxton Berrios that is not a big guy, not a wide catch radius guy, just makes a tremendous effort. Kaya puts the ball where either his guy's going to get it or nobody's going to get it.
Hey, guys, this is a coach's challenge. So do you think Mark Richt, his coaching staff, this offense is what Brad Kaya needed?
Right now, he's adapted very well. Now he got himself into some trouble with his footwork.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Completed catch. Please set the game clock for 13 minutes, 2 seconds. We'll start on my one.
Brad Kaya got himself into a little trouble last week with some of his footwork stuff, so he's still learning the ins and outs. Great catch by Berrios, my goodness. He's still learning the ins and outs of the pro-style offense, but to be this far along, this early in his development, I know he's a junior, but only having been in this offense 9 months, it takes a long time for guys to develop, and he's done a great job of it.
Straight ahead is Joe Yearby. He picks up 5 yards before he's brought down by Keenan Gilchrist.
Greg, one of the biggest challenges for Brad Kaya, and Mark Richt will tell you this, is he's accustomed to being in the shotgun, and he's comfortable in the shotgun. So this is foreign territory, playing with so much under the center stuff.
It's really going to benefit him as he makes the leap eventually.
Play action here for Kaya. In trouble. Throws it away. Was he outside the pocket? I think he was between the tackles. That's grounding.
They want it. Here in Boone, North Carolina, you can see her, the displeasure the Mountaineer faithful.
There was no receiver anywhere near the football. Let's see if he left the pocket here.
He's in the pocket there clearly. Retreats backwards. He's in the pocket. That's a penalty.
Yep.
Ron Sherry's going to call it right here.
Yep.
Illegal forward pass. Offense has lost it down at the spot.
He said illegal forward pass. He meant intentional grounding. So loss of down. It'll be 3rd down and long here for Miami.
You have to wonder, Miami has so much momentum right now. Do you keep it on the ground and be conservative? I think you do. You don't want to take a chance by throwing it down the field and make a mistake.
Miami calling timeout here to discuss it. That'll leave the Hurricanes with 2. Appalachian State, because of that failed challenge, is down to 1 timeout. Full day of college football on ABC and ESPN. We conclude with Texas Cal, and after that it's SportsCenter at night with John Anderson, Lisa Kearney. Also baseball playoff news, World Cup of Hockey, preview of our NFL Sunday games. And again, this stadium seats 23,000. They extended the bleachers. They have standing room only seats, people behind the fence, people in the woods watching. They don't like what they see right now. Kaya on 3rd and long, dumps it off to Yearby, and he picks up about 5 yards to make it a little bit easier for the field goal kicker, Michael Badgley.
Great job by Brad Kaya. Look, it's 3rd and 16. You know, that's a very difficult spot to be in. Just make your field goal kicker a little bit better. Give it out to your best ball carrier, or one of them. Him and Mark Walton certainly both have a case for it, Dave, I think. Well, good job making it a little easier and more manageable on Michael Badgley.
And they got to get this guy going here. He had a 24-yard field goal block and missed a 30-yard field goal this season already. It's a 44-yarder, and he buries it. So Miami extends the lead to 24-0 over Appalachian State.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Kayaking on the New River. We're in Boone, North Carolina, about a couple of hours away from Charlotte, western North Carolina, home of Appalachian State. First time since 1979 that a Saturday ESPN home broadcast has taken place. Appalachian State told us they believe that was the second ESPN college football game ever. Back in '79. Greg, you remember what happened?
I was a figment of my parents' imagination at that point.
Let's go to Adnan Burke, who I think was as well. 24-zip here, Adnan. All Miami over Appalachian State. As Florida State makes its comeback against Louisville. Can the Mountaineers bounce back down 24? Scott Satterfield knows what it takes to win here. He told us yesterday he's hoping that this school can be the next Boise State. They moved full-time to FBS last year, won 11 games. And then this year hung with Tennessee, lost in overtime 2 weeks ago. They run the ball on first down to Jalen Moore. He gets a yard. Satterfield was a quarterback here. Jerry Moore, one of the great coaches, retired a few years ago. Satterfield, who came back to be the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator, then got the head job.
Other than 3 years away at both Florida International and Toledo, this is what he knows. And he's helped create a culture of winning and championships here in Boone.
Which makes this even more surprising as Lamb's pass is deflected and nearly picked off right through the hands of Jalen Barber. That right there is a microcosm of what's happened today. Ball through the hands of players, balls that have been severely underthrown, mistakes on defense where they can't get 11 guys on the field, and in coverage, breakdowns as well.
And Lugs, I'm curious what the attitude is like on the sideline for App State. Got to get something going here sooner than later.
A lot of heads shaking side to side based off of what Dave said right there. Just every time you have a shot, it's not going your way.
Yeah, the touchdown call back, it would have made it 14-7, but you had a holding call on a wide receiver.
Now the quarterback can't get the signal because he can't see the guy on the sideline.
3rd and 9. Lamb. And the catch made by Metters, but did he get the first down? Where's forward progress? Looks like it's enough to move the sticks.
Pretty generous spot right there, but a good throw, a little comeback. Yeah, that's a good spot right there. First down, App State. A much needed first down, too. Their defense is reeling a little bit. The offensive line's trying to impose their will, and they just haven't had enough snaps to be able to do so.
Here's Moore going nowhere. Slammed to the ground at the point of attack.
I can't say enough about this Miami defense, Lugs. I mean, they are aggressive. When Manny Diaz got there, he wanted to create chaos, and they are doing so. With a very young linebacker core, they're playing very, very mature beyond their years right now.
Well, he's minimized errors by taking those young guys and giving them one assignment. Don't worry about it. Just do this one thing. And that's been very, very smart.
2nd and 10. We'll keep it on the ground. Out to the 37-yard line. Chad Thomas on the tackle. That was Jalen Moore, the ball carrier. Again, you got to consider the opponent here, Florida A&M and FAU, the first 2 weeks, but Manny Diaz doesn't care. The numbers are great, and the defense has been very good today.
And not listed there, they actually lead the nation in tackles for loss and sacks and rushing defense. So it's tough sledding against Manny Diaz's defense here.
Appalachian State just picked up 3rd and 9. Can they keep this drive going here? 3rd and 8. A design quarterback draw. Miami not fooled. Chad Thomas swallows Taylor Lamb for a loss. Some boos actually here from the App State faithful. And the Mountaineers have the punt.
Hey, Greg, you know those boos are coming from a vantage point that doesn't have the angle I have when it comes to seeing what the guys in orange look like and what the guys in black look like in the trenches.
Significant advantage
in
regards to speed right now. But you thought App State's attitude would neutralize that. Certainly hasn't been the case early on.
Another poor punt. Goes out of bounds around the 27-yard line. So Miami back on offense after a 38-yard punt. Canes up 24-0. And time now for today's Aflac trivia question. 19 active head coaches in the FBS coaching at their alma maters. How many of those schools are currently ranked in the AP top 10? As you chew on that, Greg and
That's
Tom,
a tough one. That's a really tough one.
The reason we asked that is because both Scott Satterfield and Mark Richt played at their respective schools they're currently coaching. Many thought Richt, after he was let go by Georgia after 15 good years, would take a year or two off. But not only does he jump right back in, now he's calling plays as well. So he's added to his duties in his first year at Miami. 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes. And they run Mark Walton. He gets maybe a yard. Richt played at Miami. He's an 82 graduate. Howard Schnellenberger was the head coach. Backed up many of the greats there, including Jim Kelly.
Look at him, huh? I like it. Under center. I know he's happy to be back, and the fans are happy to have him.
Another pass out in space. It's Stacy Coley, and he gets about 6 yards. 3rd down coming up for Miami.
He's really energized that Miami program. No longer do you see negative airplane banners or angry callers on local sports radio talk stations. Everyone is united behind Mark Richt, and you can see this team is playing for their city right now.
They're going to run it here on 3rd down. And it's Mark Walton, very close to a first down. That big fullback Marquez Williams out there paving the way. Eric Boggs, the first guy there for Appalachian State. You know, Mark's got his son John on the staff. His wife is involved heavily with the program here. She's the Miami water engineer, Catherine Richt.
It's a family affair, that's for sure. He's done a great job already. Him, Manny Diaz, the entire Miami staff has really brought a lot of energy to South Beach.
They did not get the first down, though. First punt of the day for Justin Vogel. Jaquil Capel is deep, and he makes the fair catch around the 12. Let's go to Adnan Verk in the studio. All right, I asked you guys this when it was 7-0. You said it's early. Are you starting to worry now?
It's very early. What was it, 28-3 at one point against Ole Miss? If there's anything we've learned about Florida State the last couple years, 2014 is kind of when it started. They make their hay in the second half.
Appalachian State running it on 1st and 10, and it's Jalen Moore out to the 17-yard line. What about Louisville, though? Hey, say what you want about Bobby Petrino, the guy can coach. And
yes,
that quarterback, Lamar Jackson, is talented.
He reminds me a lot of Vince Young early in his career. He's exceptional with the ball in his hands. Very athletic, decisive, north-south runner. Long strides. His accuracy can improve, and I think it needs to. But he's outstanding. Highlight reel.
Another run play on 2nd and 5. It's a first down and more for Jalen Moore. Again, filling in for the injured Marcus Cox, who was hurt on that touchdown that was called back. It's a 9-yard run and a first down.
Get some positive momentum going here. This App State team just needs something good to happen to them. Get the sideline, get this crowd, this atmosphere back into it. Hasn't been a lot to cheer about, and this team feeds off of this environment.
You can see they're still doing what they do. They're not deviating regardless of what the score is.
Look at Moore drag a couple of Hurricanes with him out to the 36-yard line. Jamal Carter went for a 2-yard ride. Inside 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Appalachian State hoping to get some points going into the locker room.
Right here, early in the game, they tried to throw it a few times on first down, which kind of set them behind the 8 ball in regards to drives. Now you see them saying, hey, we got to figure out a way to run the football because everything we do is predicated off the run game. That includes the play action passing and the triple option variations that you see all over the field.
Looked good the first 3 plays. They just hammered it between the tackles and moved Miami off the ball. Running room for more in the Miami territory. To the 47-yard line, a 17-yard run.
And right here, you'll see the left side on the screen. They'll jump inside for Miami, leaving nothing but green grass. It's kind of what Miami tries to do defensively. They might occasionally sacrifice gap soundness to create chaos along the offensive line. Got caught out of position there by App State.
Moore again. Running room between the tackles to the 40-yard line. Jaquan Johnson on the stop. Best field position yet for Appalachian State. Can they capitalize? Just get something on the board.
And now, 2nd and short, 40-yard line. I'm thinking play action down the field. Miami's playing man-to-man coverage. They're playing pretty aggressive at the second level. Watch out for a possible play action here.
Little option, and Lamb will keep. And again, he got drilled. Mike Smith popped him, but it is a first down for Lamb. Not big, 200 pounds. He's taking some shots already today. Keeps hopping to his feet immediately after he takes those hits.
Starting to come alive here in the rock just a little bit.
Tell you, Greg, they've run the speed option and the triple option just a couple of times. Every time it's been effective.
They'll give it to Moore. And he's inside the 25-yard line. Moore to the 10. Finally banged out of bounds inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. Rayshawn Jenkins saved the touchdown. It's a 34-yard run.
They've found something on this stretch lead right here. Well done, well executed, well blocked, and a good job by Moore stretching it and being patient, allowing the hole to develop, and then decisively getting north-south for a big gain. Now they're in the red zone.
They'll keep it on the ground here to the 5 and dragging defenders to the 2. Darrington Evans, who doesn't get a lot of reps, but because of the injury to Marcus Cox, gets the handoff here on 1st and goal and takes it down to the 2. Did you see who was on the bottom of the pile there? Your guy Parker Collins, the feisty center for this Appalachian State team.
Feisty's an understatement. He can flat out play. He's mean. I'd love to have a team with guys like an attitude just like number 75, the center, Parker Collins.
Here's Evans again, and met right at the point of attack by Jamal Carter. Might be a loss on the play. 3rd and goal.
Thinking right here, I'm thinking Lugs. It's a 2 down to score.
Has to be.
Gotta go for a touchdown here. Field goal is a moral victory for this Miami defense.
See, this is where Miami defensively, because the field's so condensed, can overwhelm you at the point of attack with a numbers advantage. Let's see if App State gets on the perimeter at all here.
And it's over the head of Lamb. It's not 2 down anymore. Lamb tackled back at the 14 as he fell on the ball. Wow.
Just can't make this mistake. Taylor Lamb's a poised football player. Seldom do you see him do things like this. Diaz fired up.
And you got to kick the field goal here. You got to get some points. We'll see what they do when we come back. 4th and goal. Miami taking a timeout. So because of the botched snap going through the hands of the quarterback Taylor Lamb, Appalachian State will try a field goal to get some points with 2:07 to go in the first half.
Very surprising to see a team that's played in big games before make so many mental errors over the course of the first half.
Michael Rubino had a big point after touchdown miss against Tennessee, able to produce here and knock it through. 24-3 Miami. Let's go to Adnan. Louisville just scored again, Adnan. 28-10 right now. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Later today, Alabama is in action, trying to end a 2-game skid to Ole Miss. Your thoughts on that one, Greg?
Looking forward to seeing that one. You saw last year Alabama came out so emotional, made a lot of mistakes as a result, and Ole Miss took advantage on big plays down the field. It's really surprising to see that outcome last year, but I know Alabama's had that game circled, as has Ole Miss, because that's a big one in the SEC West almost annually now.
You didn't lose 3 in a row to any one opponent, right?
We did not. No, not when I was there, no, but we had a couple of very unfortunate outcomes, especially my senior year when we came up short against the Auburn Tigers.
And running it out is Berrios. He hesitated for a second, and a huge running lane for Berrios. Grabbed at the shoulder pad and brought down. All right, let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. 19 active head coaches coaching their alma maters. How many of those schools are in the top 10? Did you have a guess?
I'm going to say 3. I know Jim Harbaugh is very obvious. David Shaw, there we go, perfect. And then I'm really... I'm surprised. David Shaw, of course, at Stanford. I don't think a lot of people would have gotten that. And then Wisconsin, after their win against LSU in Week 1, squarely in the top 10. So Paul Chryst doing a nice job in Madison, your hometown, Mr. Pash.
What a great win that was Week 1 for them at Lambeau. Great scene. Wisconsin knocking off LSU. They got Michigan State, big one next week in East Lansing. On first down, they run Walton. He's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Miami has 1 timeout remaining.
I think in this situation, you try to see if you squeak one, and then you fire a timeout. But you don't want to fire one and then give the ball back potentially to App State.
Penalty flag down. We got a dead ball foul here.
False start, Miami. It's a 5-yard penalty, second down.
Expect Miami now behind the sticks to run the football. Up 21 points, don't want to make it interesting, and possibly give the ball back to the Mountaineers with time left to go down and steal some points themselves.
Let's see how much Mark Richt trusts Brad Kaya in game 3 here, though, to try to sling it and get in the field goal range. I guess he trusts him enough. He throws it away again. Boy, I don't know that he ever left the pocket. There wasn't a receiver really in the area. I think it's too close to call it grounding. Well, now it's 3rd and 15 and the clock stopped. So if you don't pick it up and you throw it here, you get an incompletion. You're punting it back to App State, which has a little bit of momentum.
I'm surprised with that call a little bit. You're running the ball pretty well. I thought they might hand it to their running back and possibly break one. Now the clock stopped. App State has a timeout, so even if you run it, App State's going to get the ball back with the chance to march down the field.
Kaya with time throws it underneath. And a good tackle at the 32-yard line on Chris Herndon. So it's 4th down. Keenan Gilchrist over there. Timeout called by Appalachian State. There is a penalty flag down.
Appalachian State, this is a 30-second timeout. This is their second charge timeout. Okay.
It's like some confusion.
Okay. Dead ball. After the play was over, personal foul, 66 White. It's the offense, Miami. Okay.
So Miami's going to punt from around its 10-yard line. All right, Craig.
Reset the game clock to 58 seconds.
I think you know where I'm going with this question when I phrase it this way, but is there something as being too ready to play? Was Appalachian State too amped up for this game, and that's what happened here?
Sometimes. I mean, when you have emotional games like this, huge games in your own backyard, you do occasionally come out maybe a little too fired up, and you're not thinking about executing. You're thinking about external factors. And with all the mental mistakes we've seen in the first 30 minutes, I think App State has fallen victim just a little bit.
Good punt, but it's a line drive. Fair caught at the 35-yard line. Let's look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The AP Top 10, we just mentioned 3 of them. Stanford, Michigan, and Wisconsin. How about Ohio State and Oklahoma? Guys, as a group, we had the Sooners week 1 in Houston. We had Ohio State week 2. And I know both of you guys think Ohio State is going to roll.
I think Ohio State, their depth, how physical they are at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a lot for an Oklahoma offensive line that has struggled in the first game against top-level competition. They looked good last week against Louisiana Monroe, Lukes, but Ohio State's very deep up front defensively.
Yeah, this game will be determined in the trenches, no doubt about it, for both ball clubs.
Back to throw Lamb, and his pass is caught. Then Dante Jones gets up, sets the ball down, short of the first down, so the clock running. No timeouts left for the Mountaineers. Lamb into traffic. It's intercepted at the 40-yard line. A penalty marker down. Redwine picked it off, but did he interfere or hold the receiver, Shaden Metters, before he made the play?
A lot of contact over there on the boundary. Could go either way.
Boy, it's rare that you see a pass interference called a pick.
Defense number 22, 15 yards, automatic, first down.
Stops the clock with 31 seconds to go.
And Redwine playing press coverage, good technique there. Seemed like he let him go and then looked back for the ball. I don't know if I agree with that call right there. It looked as though both guys were trying to establish footing. But a big first down for App State.
Ball on the Miami 41. Lamb rolling out, in trouble. And down he goes, and the clock is running. Again, no timeouts. Well, now we're being told that Appalachian State had a timeout remaining. There was clearly an issue earlier when they were trying to determine whether there was a coach's challenge or whether the replay booth buzzed for further review. They obviously got it straightened out now. We just are getting the news that they had that last timeout. All right, let's go back to Ohio State, Oklahoma, because, boy, Oklahoma's – I know the offensive line struggled that first game, but the defense is what was a concern.
Yeah.
Watching that Houston game with all the guys they lost, do they have enough against J.T. Barrett and that potent offense? Because in the second half last week, Ohio State just turned it on, and it was over quickly.
This secondary for Ohio State is extremely good. Inexperienced to a certain extent, but you think about Gary and Conley, you think about Malik Hooker, those guys have really elevated their level of play, and it's going to make it very difficult for Baker Mayfield and company to move the ball through the air, Luke's.
We'll see what happens when Oklahoma needs it to happen and is expected to play really well at home.
Catch at the 24-yard line. The clock will stop as Capel makes the grab. They'll reset the chains and then wind the clock. 19 seconds left. Now we got a stoppage here.
This all goes back to Miami's play calling on the previous drive. They decided to throw it on second down, which resulted in a stopped clock. Now, App State, when they only had a timeout remaining, has been able to march down the field and possibly get into field goal range. Go back to why Miami didn't just try to run the football. They've been effective running it so far this game against this App State defense.
Only 12 seconds left. Got to throw it to the sideline here or to the end zone. Lamb in trouble. Got drilled. The ball sails out of bounds. Elder, pressure backside. And now it's third down with 7 seconds left. I don't think Appalachian State's going to mess around. They're going to bring on Michael Rubino and try to get more points heading into the locker room.
Great call right there by Manny Diaz, by the way. In these 2-minute situations, you often see defenses dropping so deep, prevent type of defenses. Manny Diaz, he said, I'm not playing prevent. I'm going to blitz the corner right off the left-hand side and force Lamb out of the pocket and obviously broke up the pass.
Timeout, Miami.
Mark Richt using that final timeout. You know, it's been a while, and we've kind of, for the last 15 years, been waiting for Miami's return to national prominence. And there's been seasons where early in the year they've looked good, and we thought, okay, this is it. And then they lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. Now, with Mark Richt, what do you think is going to be the biggest difference with him and how he runs a program that could get Miami back to the top?
Well, he's going to recruit everybody, obviously, in the Miami-Dade area. He's trying to create, obviously, the cool factor, so to speak, to get kids interested once again in Miami, and the poise that they've played with. It's really reflective of the attitude Mark Richt has. Difficult environment. They've come out and handled it beautifully in the first 30 minutes.
41-yard try to get points, and this one is wide to the right, no good. Rubino hit from 31 earlier, but no good from 41. It remains 24-3 Miami.
Just held it a little bit out to the right. Back to Mark Richt, though. I mean, he's done such a good job. This is not an easy offense to install. I mean, the intricate details that he has to explain, Lugs, it's high-level thinking, and they've adjusted extremely well to their personnel.
You've got to digest an awful lot at the line of scrimmage. Again, you have to do it under center, which Brad Kaya is not used to, and then you got to produce a result post-snap. I think he's come along very nicely.
Kaya takes a knee, and that's the end of the first half. All Miami, 24-3. Tom will talk with Mark Richt. And the Hurricanes will get the ball to start the second half. So it's 24-3 Canes as we send you back to the studio and the Lexus halftime report. First ranked team ever in Boone, and the Miami Hurricanes are rolling. They lead Appalachian State 24-3 as we get ready to start quarter number 3. The Canes looking to go 3-0. Appalachian State played so well in Knoxville a couple weeks ago. Lost that game in overtime, and we thought we'd see a much different App State team, but it was a struggle in the first half. Meanwhile, for Brad Kaya, the quarterback from Miami, he had almost as many touchdown passes as incompletions. He was 14 of 17 with 2 TDs, and he's the subject of our Blimpworthy play, brought to you by Goodyear.
He has been absolutely outstanding, but it all starts with the play calling by Mark Richt. See the run-pass option? You can't cover the run and the bubble at the same time. He got off to a really quick start, a 5-for-5 start, all on bubble routes. You get down to the length of the field, flat top defense, recognizing where you have a size advantage, you throw it up in the back of the end zone. And when you have a quarterback with an arm like this is a rocket from the far hash. No part of the field is safe. He can attack you. He has been outstanding so far in their early going after a slow start last week against FAU. You can see a lot of underneath passes getting him in rhythm. And I got to really give a lot of credit to Mark Richt, making sure his quarterback's comfortable getting the ball out of his hands quickly and giving it in high percentage completion opportunities. Well done by the Miami Hurricanes signal call early on.
Kaya was perfect, as you saw, on third down. 6 of 6, 98 yards, and 2 touchdown passes on that down. And we'll see him here in a minute. Miami will start on offense. Malcolm Lewis and Braxton Berrios are deep for Miami. And Lewis, after hesitating, decides to run it out. He's past the 25-yard line, so it actually works out all right. He gets to the 28. Tom Luganville had a chance to talk with Appalachian State coach Scott Satterfield.
Yeah, guys, obviously he's frustrated. I asked him point blank, this is an uncharacteristic effort from your team from an execution and communication standpoint. He admitted that this is not how they play football. I asked him, what is the mood coming out of the locker room into halftime? And he says, I'll tell you one thing, we won't lay down. We will compete. And if anything, guys, if you've watched this program over the last 25 years, the foundation has predicated upon competing each and every down.
They've won 3 national championships since 2005. They will play a 60-minute game, regardless of what the score is.
Play fake for Kaya, and he'll dump it off to Njoku, and Njoku puts on the moves, and he's down the sideline. Inside the 20 and pushed out of bounds. He got rid of a couple of defenders on that big play down the far sideline.
Looks like the first half a little bit. You have a missed tackle on a play right at the line of scrimmage. Number 10, again, A.J. Howard, the safety. He missed the tackle that allowed Walton to get free on the first play of the game. Now he misses a tackle that allows Njoku to go way down the left sideline for a big play.
Meanwhile, Eric Boggs is shaken up after that 54-yard pass play. I was about to ask you, after the snap, after the play was dead, whether Appalachian State, yeah, they're going to fight, but can they come back and win? And then you see what they do on defense on the first play, just like the start of the game.
And a really good play call from Mark Richt, too. You know this App State team got chewed out at halftime, naturally. So what are they thinking on the first snap? I'm going to fire off the football as hard as humanly possible. What does Miami do? Misdirection, Lugs.
Now, misdirection. It was a terrific play call, and it's a safe play call on first down for your quarterback out on the perimeter. This was another area Coach Satterfield addressed for me. Missed tackles and yards after contact, whether it's been in the run game, remember the run with Mark Walton on the first play for the touchdown, or in the passing game. We just saw it again right there.
Miami's got 161 yards after catches today. They run Walton off the right side, and he's dragged down. Maybe a loss of 1. Desmond Reed made the play for ASU.
That was not a play you saw a lot from the Miami Hurricanes offense in the first half. They feel like they have a physical advantage between the tackles. Didn't expect them to come out and try to set the perimeter. Let's see if they run right at him here.
Nope, Kaya going to throw, swinging it out to the 15-yard line. Coley is able to get the first down and then pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal on the 2. Coley lost his shoe and shaken up as well.
Done a really good job after catch. This Miami football team. A lot of question marks with their wide receiver core. They've answered the bell, though, these first 3 weeks of the season.
They're going to hand it off to Walton, but there was movement. Penalty flag down.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, you guys both talked about the first play from scrimmage for Miami, but if you're just tuning in, where this game got sideways was when it was 14-0 and Appalachian State scores on a 79-yard touchdown run, only to have that play negated because of a penalty flag. And the guy who scored that touchdown, their best player, got hurt on that play. He has not returned. Miami scored shortly after that to make it 21-0. Now they're trying to add to a 24-3 lead. Straight ahead is Walton, and he's back inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Clifton Duck tripped him up.
It's bread and butter football. Love seeing a number 36 fullback. Love seeing that. And App State having a hard time getting lined up again.
Penalty flag down. Now, the Appalachian State coaches are arguing they didn't have enough time to substitute, but Miami didn't substitute, though, so they just didn't get the right personnel on the field.
Illegal substitution. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
Not only did Miami not substitute there, but players started running onto the field from App State, and nobody on the field for App State even thought to look to the sideline to see if they were getting substituted for. Again, the same miscommunication we saw from usually buttoned-up unit defensive coordinator Nate Woody in the first half, seeing again here on the opening drive.
Really uncharacteristic to see mistakes by this App State team.
2nd and goal on the 1. Here's Walton pushing forward, trying to get in. They'll mark him short. Eric Boggs, who was shaken up a couple of plays ago, back in there, makes the hit. Miami goes up tempo. 3rd and goal on the 1. It's Walton. He's hit. He's short. Trying to stretch the ball out, but he won't get in. A.J. Howard there first. Does Miami go for it here on 4th down and goal from the 1?
Absolutely. Knowing how good your defense has been against the run so far and how many tackles for a loss you've had, even if you get stopped, App State's offense is backed up.
It's play action. Kaya. And it's picked off at the 5-yard line by John Law. He gets a block. Trying to get rid of the Hurricane. He can't, but he still gets to the 38-yard line. The preseason Sun Belt Player of the Year with the biggest play of the game for Appalachian State. And the quarterback, Brad Kaya, shaken up.
Just trying to go with a little spider 2-Y banana. First touchdown of the year was on that exact same play. John Law. What a great play, undercutting the fullback, recognizing tendencies, and taking it the other way. Surprising because of Miami's size advantage. They didn't just try to pound it between the tackles over and over and over again to try to get to pay dirt.
Now if Appalachian State can get a touchdown, they're back in the game. Here's Moore, and he gets maybe a yard. Boy, Miami's been so good at the line of scrimmage against the run. You had Demetrius Jackson and Kendrick Norton in there, a pair of sophomores for the Hurricanes. As Brad Kaya gets looked at on the Miami sideline. And again, if you're Appalachian State, speaking of injuries, this is where you'd love to have Marcus Cox. He is a terrific running back, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons, but he is out for the rest of the game. Will Brad Kaya return for Miami when the Canes are back on offense? Second and 9, the pitch to Hopkins. Tackled from behind by Jenkins. Thomas was there as well. Pickup of maybe 4. Are you in 4-down territory here, Appalachian State?
I think so. Your field goal kicker hasn't gotten off to the greatest start this season so far. Missed an extra point in the Tennessee game, missed a field goal here earlier today. I think with it being a 21-point game and App State being primarily a run football team, you got to think about 2 downs here to get the first.
3rd down and 6. Straight ahead, and it's Moore. He'll come up short. 4th down. They're going to go for it here, no doubt. 4th down and about 2 on the 29-yard line.
Last time they had a 4th down opportunity, they went with a speed option and got stuffed right in the backfield. It's hard right into the teeth of this Miami defense. Let's see if they try to get it on the perimeter.
Handoff, Moore, and he bounces off of one man, gets the first down. Couldn't keep his feet, stepped out, but after he moved the chains. Jamal Carter did enough to bump him out of play. Otherwise, Moore takes it to the house. Let's check in with Tom.
Good conversion there for App State. On the Miami sideline, Brad Kaya getting his left knee examined now. He wears a knee brace there. That's a precautionary measure to aid against any type of lower body blow to your plant leg that you're stepping into. So they're checking him out. He's moving around on the sideline a little bit here right now.
So he got a little rolled up trying to chase down John Law in the interception return.
Moore trying to cut it back, dives ahead, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Just a little gingerly, doing a little karaoke, high knee karaoke.
A little karaoke there?
A little karaoke, babe.
I hear you. How about some tapioca?
You don't have the rhythm for that, bud.
No, you're right. I don't. Ask
said,
my wife. She'll tell you.
I thought you said karaoke at first. Malik Rozier, by the way, is the backup if Kaya is unable to return, but looks good right now. 2nd and 10 for Appalachian State. Play fake, Lamb, little half roll, throws it back, man wide open, easy touchdown, Barrett Burns. The old throwback to the tight end works again. And that is career touchdown pass number 50 for Taylor Lamb. And it's 24-10.
Great play call. Back against the wall. Gotta have it. Let's roll my quarterback out. Throw it back. Oops. Tight end's uncovered. Mountaineers making some noise.
One of the best players in college football will be on display tonight. Christian McCaffrey and the Stanford Cardinal taking on USC on Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Here, Appalachian State and its fans feel like the Mountaineers are back in the game after an interception on the goal line, followed by a touchdown catch for Burns. It's 24-10 Miami midway through the 3rd. Some adrenaline for the kicker. Bangs it through the end zone.
The throwback to wide. Man-to-man coverage by Zach McLeod, and then you see Burns going out the back door. Little ride 334, naked right, and McLeod loses his guy, doesn't see him anywhere. Sure enough, Barrett Burns connects. App State says, we will not go quietly into the night. Well executed by Lamb, well caught by Burns, and well called by Scott Satterfield.
Brad Kaya is out there. He was injured on the interception, but good enough to return. 1st down on the 25 for Miami. And Kaya will throw on his first play back. And it's dropped at the 35 by Amon Richards. It's an easy catch. Couldn't hang on. Well, this stadium seats about 22,000. The attendance today, 34,658 because of the added seats, standing room only, people watching behind the fence and in the trees. There's only 17,000 people in the city of Boone. Good play against the run. Yearby knocked down at the line of scrimmage. It's Boggs again, the middle linebacker.
Look at the energy on this App State sideline. That was what they looked like pregame, Lugs. Starting to jump around, feeling it a little bit.
Starting to get nuts down here, really loud. The Canes, for really one of the few times all game, have been backed up. Crowds on their feet here. Great moment here for 3rd and 10.
The problem, though, is Brad Kaya has been brilliant on 3rd down. He threw 2 touchdown passes, was perfect on 3rd down in the first half. 3rd and 10 for Kaya. Gonna air it out. Man there. Caught. Richards. And a face mask to boot. Richards taken down inside the 15. Ran right by Alex Gray.
Great throw right here. Double covered. Sometimes 2 heads aren't better than 1. Great throw, though, by Brad Kaya, continuing his hot streak on the most important down, 3rd down.
That's their 4th play of 50 yards or more today. So with the personal foul, that puts the ball on the 7-yard line.
Let's see now. They tried to throw it last time. Maybe they just get back to doing what they do. Straight downhill rushing attack.
Joe Yearby is the back. Kaya changing things here. Play clock at 1. They did not get the play off, so that'll put the ball back at the 12.
Play of game. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Lugs, it's rare to see a check with me. You saw Brad Kaya doing some signals, having a conversation with his offensive line. It's rare in this part of the field to do a check with me because it's louder as you approach the fans in the end zone.
And that's 8 penalties now for Miami. 9 last week. They were last in the country in penalties last year. And they're among the most penalized teams again here in 2016. Still 1st and goal on the 12. Hand off to Yearby. He's got a running lane. Sheds a defender. And in the end zone for the touchdown.
It's a great answer by this Miami offense. Great cutback. Yearby says, I may wear number 2, but there certainly ain't no drop-off between me and Mark Walton. Well done by the running back.
Eric Boggs could not bring him down. A missed tackle there. How deflating, though, for Appalachian State. But give Miami credit. And quarterback Brad Kaya making a terrific throw on that 3rd down and 10. It leads to a touchdown, and they're back up 21.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and Cadillac.
A 50-yard bomb by Brad Kaya. A beautiful deep ball to Amon Richards. Kaya has thrown 2 touchdown passes, only 5 incompletions. He did throw an interception. But Miami in command again, 31-10, midway through the 3rd. And again, he's been so good on 3rd down today. Perfect in the first half. That was a 3rd and 10 where he threw that long ball. Badgley kicking it deep for the Hurricanes. And it'll be a touchback. So we know Brad Kaya can throw, but how about 2 quarterbacks and a pass? We tried this yesterday from the top of the A. We measured it at like 55. Now, come on. You got to give me some props. That was close.
I'm giving you major props. First of all, the angle that we're throwing off of, it's steep. The fact that we didn't roll down the hill should be a moral victory for all of us.
You came close, almost hit the bucket there.
I was disappointed.
Greg won last week at Ohio State. He actually put it in the can from about 35 rows up. This week, apparently, we all took 3rd.
Oh, sure.
Hey, all I know is lesser athletes would have fallen down the hill.
You're right.
That's all I know.
I'm chalking it up as a wing because we didn't fall down the hill.
Believe that.
Appalachian State tries to go back to the ground game, and Jalen Moore gets nothing, losing a couple. R.J. McIntosh is there at the 23-yard line. See, I should be like golf, though. Shouldn't I get like a stroke? Shouldn't I be handicapped here? I got it just as far as you guys did. How come I get the same score?
Whoa, 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 whoa. You got it just as far as we did?
I would have said just a little short of where we were landing it. You're my good buddy, and you gave it a great effort. Sometimes effort is all we're looking for.
By the way, can you hand me that bottled water? I can't lift my right arm again. Off play action. Lamb. It's caught, and a spin by Zy Letman. First catch of the day, out to the 45 for 21 yards.
Well thrown football from Taylor Lamb right there. A little play action, trying to marry it together with some of the internal run game. If they're going to make this game interesting, they need to get the passing game going a little bit, because relying solely on your running backs and the ground attack is going to be tough against a Miami defense that doesn't give you anything on the ground.
Meanwhile, Zach McLeod banged up on this play for Miami, so let's check in with Adnan Burke in the studio. Well, Adnan, there were a lot of guys, including, I think, both Greg and Tom, that said at the beginning of the year that 2 ACC teams would make the playoff. Maybe it was just Greg. That may happen, but it might be Louisville in there along with Clemson. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, they can play. Bobby Petrino's an outstanding coach. He's got a great quarterback. Really good on the defensive side of the football, particularly at the defensive line of scrimmage. They can go, man.
Big hole for Jalen Moore. A couple of penalty markers down. Moore gets the first down to the 43. I don't think there's any doubt, though, that Bobby Petrino is one of the best offensive coaches in college football. We're seeing that again with what they're doing today.
Illegal block. 3, offense. 15-yard penalty, second down.
Another penalty flag on a big play. Deltron Hopkins.
And on a wide receiver. I mean, several times now, Lugs, where they've had momentum-changing penalties.
Well, momentum-changing penalties, and think about it, guys. We just referenced the plays of 25 or more yards, 50 or more yards if you're Miami. And what was the one play that App State had that amounted for that much? A callback touchdown. That's been the big difference.
That was a game-changing callback touchdown, too. Lamb keeping it past the 40 to the 42-yard line. Now Marcus Cox done for the day. Appalachian State needs him if it's going to win the Sun Belt again. Went to a bowl game last year, won 11 games, and its first full year in FBS.
Certainly hoping the best for him. He's a special player, and this App State team puts an awful lot on his shoulders. Jalen Moore is very capable, but Marcus Cox threatens to go the distance every time he touches it.
3rd and 13 for Appalachian State. Lamb in trouble. Gets torpedoed by Corn Elder. Lamb has taken some shots today. Inside the pocket and on the run. This Miami defense leading the nation in tackles for a loss, averaging 14 per game. I only have 7 today, but normally that's a pretty good number. And the competition better today than what they've had weeks 1 and 2.
They're tenacious, man. Regardless of the situation in the game, they are coming after you. 3rd and long, 1st and 10, 2nd and short, they don't care. They want to disrupt your rhythm offensively.
Berrios the deep man, and Miami will start this drive on its 25 with 3:26 to play in the 3rd quarter. Let's go inside Kid Brewer Stadium. Some unique flavor. Today's AT&T Inside Access back to the scene of the crime where we were throwing the football from yesterday. Tom, is it more slick in your cowboy boots than it was yesterday in your tennis shoes?
Man, it is slick as all get out. It's too bad I don't have a ball right now. I could throw it left-handed, probably farther than you did. We still got some people over here behind the fence. We got some folks behind me right here. They're all fired up. See, look, we got a dog. And then we got to make sure we shut off all cameras, guys, because I'm going to have to get away down here.
Hey, how about the skunk that came into our meeting room today? Was he up there?
Well, no, that skunk came into our mic and RF tent and just left me a little present here on my mic stick.
I'm curious how much of the field you can see from there.
It's actually awesome, to be honest with you. It's unbelievable. One of the neat things about this setting here, guys, you see the background with the trees and the forest, but not having an enclosed end zone where you allow the people to pretty much go where they want. It's a really cool feel.
Kaya looking deep, airing it out again. That pass on the money. It's Amon Richards inside the 20. Says, get off me at the 15, and gets to the 11.
Another outstanding throw by Brad Kaya. A little fake right, no worries, keep your eyes to that side. I can be late downfield, I got a huge arm. Great throw. Amon Richards. Those two are going to connect an awful lot, I would imagine, this season.
64-yard pass play, and then back to the run game. Walton picks up a yard or two.
Hey, Greg, that looked terrific from my vantage point.
Was the ball spinning, Luke?
The ball was spinning. I could not read Wilson on it, but I could see it drop in the basket. Very impressive.
Beautiful throw.
See some of the games coming up at 3:30 on the ESPN networks, including Oregon and Nebraska on ABC. Second and goal. Here's Walton again. Tried to cut it back. Ran into a wall. Nathaniel Norwood there first.
Such an impressive performance for Miami today. Came out, started fast, capitalized on every mistake that Appalachian State has made. And when they've gotten in this part of the field, with the exception of the interception, they've put it in against a very good red zone defense.
Third and goal for Miami. Kaya with time and a beautiful touch throw. Secured by Stacy Coley. Touchdown, Miami.
Coley with the touchdown.
That's the third touchdown pass today by Brad Kaya. Two of them to Stacy Coley. He's played hurt too. Coley has limped off the field several times. And Kaya, by the way, is at 345 yards right now.
Very accurate passer when you give him time.
So after Appalachian State pulls within 14, Miami scores 14 unanswered. Brad Kaya's numbers today, 3 touchdowns. He did have the pick on the goal line. After last week, where his quarterback rating was the worst of his career. Terrific bounce back today. And again, the third down passing, he's been perfect.
That's what it all comes down to. In today's day and age in college football, it's about execution in the red zone and third down passing. He's done a great job giving his wide receivers chances and capitalizing on mistakes made by the App State secondary.
This will be another touchback. Let's go to Adnan Burke in the studio. Man, we are seeing more and more teams struggle in those games. Clemson had a tough one. TCU a couple weeks ago as well.
Georgia
last week against Nichols.
And Georgia State's 0-2. It's not like they're 2-0. Playing 2-0 Wisconsin. Got 0-2 team on the road. Leading. Here's Lamb. It's broken up, and it is intercepted by Mike Smith. I think this Miami defense is for real. I know they're young, but they have made a lot of plays. There's some good offensive players on this Appalachian State team.
They are really athletic and opportunistic. When the ball's in the air, they come down with it. Look, I mean, this is stealing. If you're a Miami defender, missed throw, ball goes up in the air. And obviously Mike Smith there to bring it down. This team defensively is relentless. You can talk about Florida State, Clemson, Louisville obviously making a statement. This is a statement right here. Miami goes on the road against a very good football team, a team that's lost 3 games in 2 years, and beats them down. Very impressive performance from Mark Richt's team. I know they're fired up in South Florida.
Yerby tripped up after a 2-yard gain. And you look ahead, Miami's got Florida State at home, North Carolina at home. They do not play Clemson. They do not play Louisville. They have to go to Notre Dame at the end of October. Yerby gets a yard this time. And the offensive line was better today. Now we'll see when they're playing a defensive line that has the dudes that Florida State has or North Carolina. But they were better today than they were last week against FAU.
By a wide margin. Last week when you put on the tape, Brad Kaya was helping himself off the ground almost every passing attempt. He's had all day today. And I think this App State defensive front is pretty solid. Not big, but solid. This offensive line's coming together.
3rd down and 7. Kaya, and not on the same page with his receiver that time. So it's 4th down.
He's human, Lugs. He actually finally missed a throw on 3rd down.
Yeah, and a miscommunication there. Malcolm Lewis, number 9, looking back to the sideline, and he and Brad Kaya just were not on the same page. And Kaya had what he wanted, one-on-one, up top. Didn't have any safety help over the top to interfere with the throw. And for crying out loud, guys, why wouldn't he throw the ball vertically? He's been just out of sight dropping the ball in the basket.
They're going to go for it here, it looks like. Kaya still on the field.
Going to call a timeout. Don't want to take the chance of getting a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, I would imagine. So let's go to Adnan Virk while we have a moment. Yeah, Tennessee just a couple weeks ago was down to Appalachian State, ended up winning the game in overtime. Let's go back to Brad Kaya. You got going into the year, Deshaun Watson, of course, was the talk of college football in terms of quarterbacks. People know about Brad Kaya. They knew a little bit about Lamar Jackson, but maybe these are 2 guys we'll be talking about in November.
I think we'll be talking about him not only in November, but also in April and May of next year for the NFL Draft. Brad Kaya, if he continues his ascent and gets more comfortable in this Mark Richt offense, he should be able to make a nice transition to the next level. I know Miami Hurricanes don't like hearing that, but physically, he can make all the throws.
Penalty marker down, false start, but Miami's not too upset about that. It just gives him a little bit more room to punt and pin App State deep.
Offense, number 3. It's a 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It's always been with Brad Kaya. He's got a big arm. He's got a good head on his shoulders, makes good decisions with the football. But he hasn't always had the supporting cast, particularly in the offensive line. That group was kind of an issue last year for him, and now if they come together and give him time, they have a chance to be very explosive on the outside.
That one goes into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Week 2 of the NFL season concludes on Monday night with the Eagles and Bears. Carson Wentz starting at quarterback for Philadelphia. It's 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Our coverage starts at Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 6. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
I really like Carson Wentz, man. He's got a real good head on his shoulders, big physical guy. Good system fit with Doug Peterson there in Philadelphia, the West Coast. I think he's got a chance to be special.
Meanwhile, Jared Goff, who was the #1 pick, didn't even dress last week. It's reported that he's going to be the backup in the Rams game tomorrow. Jalen Moore off the right side will lose yardage, and that will wrap up the 3rd quarter. Appalachian State got it down to a 14-point deficit, but Brad Kaya took the game over, and Miami leading by 28 going to the final frame. I bet a lot of these people thought they'd be here till midnight. Instead, they're leaving at about 2:30 local time as their team is down 38-10. Brad Kaya threw for over 200 yards in the 3rd quarter. And it's 38-10 Miami. 2nd and 12 for Appalachian State. And they hand it off to Hopkins, and he's knocked out of bounds for a loss.
No, guys, when you look at these teams from the field level, I think one of the things that not only emotionally but physically overwhelmed App State today is the difference in personnel and depth. You know, you've got an App State team that is fast, they're quick, but they're undersized. That's the type of team, type of program they are right now in the early stages at the FBS level, versus a team in Miami that physically could overwhelm them and came to play today. And it's very glaring here when you're on the field seeing these different body types.
The execution for Miami too, Luke's. I mean, they're big, they're athletic, they're physical.
Lamb in trouble on 3rd and 13. Swarm. Chad Thomas for the sack, forcing a punt. Go ahead, Tom.
You know, when you take a look at the recruiting efforts for both of these teams, Miami, of course, being in South Florida, you look at our ESPN 300 rankings, 32 players on this roster right now out of the ESPN 300. Look at Appalachian State, 0. Now, that's not a knock on App State. That just shows you the difference in the level of where the programs are right now. Just over 18 months ago, this was an FCS-level program. They're just now getting to the point where they're starting to garner the interest from 3-star guys and FBS-level caliber recruits, but they're still going to be a developmental program as they continue to build under Scott Satterfield.
And Luke, that number 32 is a big number, no question. I think it's going to go up. Mark Richt clearly trying to establish himself as the head coach here in Miami. Just a little more to illustrate the sheer size differential. That's Sonny Odogwu. He's 6'8", 325 pounds. He's going up against Caleb Fuller, who's just a hair under 6 foot, 241. You can see the size and the talent discrepancy between this Miami team and this App State team. Clearly the scoreboard is proving how wide that difference was.
Here's Mark Walton. He's into Appalachian State territory, brought down by John Law.
When you go back over the last several years of this program under Al Golden, you remember some of the sanctions, a lot of the negativity swirling around the program, and they were able to still continue to recruit well, get good players into the program, kind of weather the storm, and now each and every class seems to be moving up in the class rankings, a top 10 class rank, of course, long time to National Signing Day from now. But this Miami group under first-year head coach Mark Richt and the full calendar year of recruiting with his staff looks to be very, very promising to this point.
People look at Mark Richt's track record and the way his program goes about their business. They know that you're going to win a lot of games, and you got a chance to go to the NFL, which is intriguing to every recruit that's putting his name on the dotted line in February now, Luke.
Hey, Greg, you know, as we talk about the recruiting efforts and the type of player and the type of program Miami's trying to get to under Mark Richt, think of Scott Satterfield at Appalachian State. Now, just imagine, had they gone from the FCS level to the FBS level and not gone into the Sun Belt. Let's just say they would have done what Western Kentucky did and played a University of Miami type program every week for money, and then you find yourself 0-11, you know, 2-10, 1-12, and you set your program back a decade. It was so smart to go into the Sun Belt to compete right away and get wins so you remain relevant while you build the program.
First down for Miami inside the 40. Kaya swings it to Harris again, and Harris dragged down out of bounds at the 26. And guys, I saw a lot of recruits coming in today when we were going up to the press box, and I have to think there's some mixed emotions. If you're a recruit, you're excited because you saw the turnout, you saw what this place could be like on a Saturday, but then you see the mismatch.
But you also saw the atmosphere, the energy, the support that these Mountaineers get from their fans. Yes, the outcome's disappointing without question, but if you're a recruit too, you think, well, I come here, maybe I have a chance to get on the field early, and I won't make those mistakes that were made in the secondary. Maybe you see opportunity when you're deciding upon what school you're going to end up at.
Well, look, it's a beautiful stadium. It's a gorgeous campus. The fans are great here as Walton is inside the 15-yard line. He's over 100 yards again today, third straight week. He's down to the 10.
Greg, you know, and Dave, when you consider this atmosphere that was so strong and the environment and this type of place, also consider some of those prospects that were on hand here and the type of player they are and the other places they're going to go visit. it's going to be tough for some of the competitors that App State goes against in recruiting to match this atmosphere.
You're absolutely right, Luke's.
Regardless of the outcome.
You're absolutely right. The support, the facilities, the backdrop, just the way people in this region feel about Appalachian State, it's very important to them. And I know recruits will recognize that while they were here, even though the turnout in the game wasn't ideal.
Walton does a somersault into the end zone for a Miami touchdown. Well, he scored to start the game, and here in the fourth quarter, he puts App State away. His second rushing touchdown, 7th of the season.
And an exclamation point into the end zone. It's been a great start to the year for Mark Walton. 3 straight games over 100 yards. He's going to be a handful for every team they play this year.
And again, Miami does not play Clemson, nor do they play Louisville. 2 teams that might be the best 2 in the ACC right now.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition.
Well, there are probably some App State fans who've gone fishing, ones that came to the game and filled the stadium at about 9 o'clock local time. But the stadium is about half empty now with a lot of people leaving. The disappointment of the day for Appalachian State from the top on down. Doug Gillen, the athletic director, getting this game scheduled, somehow getting a school like Miami to come to Appalachian State to play this game, and then all the hype that went along with it. But it's 45-10 Miami, and we check in with Adnan. It's interesting again, not just Wisconsin, because clearly they got some quarterback issues, but some people thought Iowa was going to be better this year than last year. They're struggling at home.
A lot of guys coming back. That North Dakota State team, though, they bring it every week, man.
Run play on first down, and Jalen Moore brought down at about the 25-yard line by C.J. Perry. As Brad Kaya continued to look at that left leg that took the brace off. Wonder if he's not done for the day. He's thrown for 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 interception on the goal line.
Played extremely well, except for that one bad decision. And I bet you, because he's a competitor, that's the one he's thinking about more than anything else.
Lamb's throw is caught, and it's a first down for Barrett Burns. Guys, I know you both thought Florida State was going to win handily. So Louisville, 2 weeks in a row, looks like a juggernaut offensively. So are they now the team to beat in the ACC?
You can make a case for them. They have played really well. They've put together 12 quarters. Obviously 8, 4 against Charlotte, 4 against Syracuse. Appears as though they're putting 4 together today. How many teams can say they've played to the level of expectations the way Louisville has? A lot of people thought they were a dark horse in the ACC. You can remove the dark horse tag.
Here's Moore again, and he gets maybe 3 yards to the 43-yard line. Tom, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out the most to me and is you watch the first 2 weeks of Louisville, and Greg knows this, we've talked about it. You go back to the last 2 weeks of 2015, including their bowl game with Texas A&M, and only one time has Lamar Jackson completed over 50% of his passes. And I think today was a huge statement that what we have at Louisville right now is a tremendous passer who also happens to be a dynamic athlete, not just an athlete who can sometimes throw the ball. That was a big moment for Bobby Petrino in this offense to go out against a defense like this and perform in the passing game against good personnel.
Lamb dumps it off to Burns, and he's to the 44-yard line. You know what could end up being the game of the year? I say this today, and this could change in 2 days, but Louisville-Houston could end up being the game of the year.
And right there, second to last week of the regular season, Houston right now given what's gone on in the Big 12, given what might go on if, in fact, Stanford or Washington were to have a slip-up in the Pac-12, Houston's in prime contention for the college football playoff conversation.
Let's look at the remaining schedules for Louisville and Florida State. We'll move Louisville to 3-0, Florida State to 2-1. It's not an easy game next week for the Noles at USF. Louisville in 2 weeks has to go to Clemson, and then that game we talked about at Houston. Florida State hosts Clemson, goes to Miami, and has Florida at home at the end of the regular year.
What a performance from Louisville. I mean, the ACC has really improved by leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. It was Florida State, and then, of course, Clemson has been building and building and building and put it all together last year. Miami building now. Louisville appears to be a contender.
What's the common denominator, Greg? Quarterback play.
Quarterback play and great coaching.
Yep.
So where do you put Miami as Dante Jones couldn't hang on to the ball? Where do you put Miami into the mix, or is it too early to say based on who they played the first 3 weeks?
I'll tell you what, this App State team's a good football team. I watched them. They are disruptive. Now, they have not played well today, naturally, but that's in large part due to how good Miami is. You look in the Coastal Division. Everyone knows Clemson, Louisville, and Florida State all reside on that side of the ACC in the Atlantic. But the Coastal's wide open. Miami certainly appears to be right there. If not at the top, right there in the conversation with Pittsburgh and North Carolina. North Carolina, of course, had the game against Georgia in which they came up on the short end.
You better bring your big boy pads every time you take the field against Pitt, guys. I'll tell you that. That is a physical, tough, hard-nosed team. Takes on the personality of Pat Narduzzi. They don't get the sparkle that Louisville gets, but they should be getting more attention as a team to contend with.
No, they're going to have a tough road test today, going to Stillwater and an angry Oklahoma State team after what transpired at the end of the game last week against Central Michigan.
And that game's up next here on ESPN. We have 7:35 remaining in this one with Miami in command. Today, ESPN is proud to support college football's celebration of educators across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative created by College Football Playoff Foundation. Greg, what former teacher of yours deserves a shout out today?
I got to give a shout out to Miss Joanne Rye, my kindergarten teacher. Still in touch with her, but I remember still all the lessons that she taught us, even in kindergarten. I was 5 years old. I probably shouldn't remember as much as I do, but Joanne Rye certainly had an impact on my life.
Handoff on 1st and 10 to Gus Edwards, and he gets about 4 or 5 on the play as we go to Adnan Virk in the studio. Wow, 56 against that defense, and Florida State only scoring 10.
Yeah, that's probably the most impressive part. I mean, the fact that Florida State looked so explosive at times over the last couple weeks, and they come out, play so poorly offensively, man, Louisville looks to be the real deal.
Malik Rozier in the game at quarterback, and he's got a completion to Standish Dobart.
So what does that say, guys, about Ole Miss tonight?
What does this say about Tennessee? With the way they played App State really close.
Right.
Tennessee in a dogfight right now.
With Ohio,
With
sure.
Ohio.
I think it says that college football is more unpredictable than ever before.
It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing how difficult it is to predict. We do our best to predict. The only thing that is a 100% guarantee is that we will be wrong. Except for Luke's, who's never wrong.
I don't know. Check my Twitter account.
Sophomore from Mobile, Alabama, Malik Rozier, and a handoff to Gus Edwards. He's to the 43-yard line for about 6 yards. How about this? Miami last year had 7 plays of 50 yards or more. Today, with Brad Kaya throwing the ball, they have 5. Almost as many as all of last year. He was so good on third down. Finally had an incompletion late in the third quarter, but was perfect on that down until that point.
Explosive plays in an emotional game. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids. The emotions are occasionally like a roller coaster. If you're able to stretch the field vertically, and the offensive line gives Brad Kaya time to dissect what's going on in the secondary, this passing offense is just scratching the surface of what they can be.
I think this offensive line for Miami was playing for a lot of pride this week. Let's call it what it is. FAU embarrassed them, and it was not a pretty sight last week. They didn't look tough, they didn't look physical, and they came out today with tremendous amount of pride, tremendous amount of toughness, and really laid it on this undersized App State defense.
And the most important positions in college football in 2016, Luke's offensive line, defensive line, quarterback, and cornerback,
Yep.
in my opinion. Miami checks every one of those boxes if this offensive line continues to grow.
Near the first down is Edwards trying to stretch out and get it. I think he's just short. Gus Edwards, he had a 100-yard day this year too. So all three of the running backs for Miami have a 100-yard game this season. In fact, Mark Walton has one in every game this season. Edwards missed all of last year with a foot injury. Comes up short there, fourth down, and Miami just going to punt. Nearing 4 minutes to go. By the way, Tennessee just extended its lead over Ohio to 9 points with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. One of the teams you're talking about that has struggled this year against teams you would say would be lesser opponents, although they may not be the case just yet. We don't know how good Virginia Tech is. A muff on the punt. App State, though, keeps possession as Clifton Duck able to track it down. 3:46 left in this one. Yeah, I think, Adnan, if you had to pick between the two, the game that was on ESPN, the game that was on ESPN2, I think more people would have said this would be the likely upset, not North Dakota State over Iowa. So the Hawkeyes, a team, again, that people thought would be better this year with a loss here in mid-September at home. And Wisconsin struggling as well earlier today against Georgia State.
Big Ten West might be up for grabs. Don't forget, Oregon takes on Nebraska a little bit later too, so that could be a big win for both the Pac-12 if Oregon's able to steal one, and the Big Ten West, considering two of their contenders already have looked a little sloppy today, one of which appears to have taken home the loss in Iowa.
And you guys both like Nebraska in that game, right?
I do. I think Nebraska gets it done. Haven't seen enough defensively from Oregon, Luke's.
Yeah, I think Nebraska in that environment, heck, they're due. They can't lose another game on the last play of the game.
J.P. Caruso is in the game at quarterback, hands it off to Evans, and he's got a first down to the 29-yard line. Caruso, a sophomore from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. He's played just a little bit this year. But overall, guys, I know the final 3 minutes here. What a great experience this was, just coming to Boone, getting a chance to be on campus for the last couple of days. Scott Satterfield, a class act, really enjoyed meeting with him and his coaching staff, and just knowing how much this meant to the student athletes as well as the fans, just to have this game scheduled. And in the end, in the long run, this may actually benefit in a way schools getting programs like Miami to come here. I mean, if Miami comes here and gets beat by Appalachian State, the next time there's an opportunity for a blue chip program to come play at a mid-major school, maybe it doesn't happen. But because Miami rolled, maybe we see more games like this down the road.
Maybe so, but this Miami team, I tell you what, I can't do enough. Can't give them enough credit. I mean, it was a wonderful performance. I mean, really, both sides of the football. Their defense is absolutely tenacious. Manny Diaz is still coaching right now. I mean, he's out on the numbers, yelling at some of the defenders that are on the field for the Hurricanes. This defense, it is an attacking style defense that wants to dictate what you do offensively. They set the tone today. And then, of course, Brad Kaya on the offense with the big plays down the field. can't say enough about the performance they all had as a group.
Caruso stepping up here, and he's tackled at the 30-yard line, bringing up 4th down. Yeah, I think this defense for Miami is for real. Speaking of for real, the guy in the lower left portion of your screen, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's for real. He can go. Christian McCaffrey finished second in the Heisman last year. Every time he has the ball in his hands, Lugs, I have to drop what I'm doing and pay attention to the Stanford running back.
You know what, Greg, what's so amazing about it? When he's not in the backfield and he's lined up somewhere else, how that affects the defense and the opportunities it presents for Ryan Burns, the quarterback, who's an inexperienced guy. It's amazing.
Fair catch made at the 31-yard line. Would imagine Miami will just come out, take a knee, and end the game. Look at the remaining schedule for the Hurricanes. So they go to Georgia Tech in 2 weeks. Then they have Florida State and North Carolina at home. At Notre Dame, we mentioned a dangerous Pitt team, according to Tom. And then they finish with 2 out of the last 3 on the road.
And I look at this Georgia Tech game coming up in a couple weeks. This App State team, they run variations of the triple option. So a lot of what Miami did today defensively will carry over in a couple weeks when they take on Georgia Tech. So this was a really good, I think, litmus test for this defense in being keyed and dialed in to all the different things that go on in the backfield.
I thought, too, the way that Mark Richt talked about Appalachian State, the respect he gave them, it rubbed off to the players.
You better believe it.
So Miami moves to 3-0 in Mark Richt's first season with the Canes. 45-10, they beat Appalachian State. Brad Kaya, 21 of 27, 367 yards, 3 touchdown passes. An impressive win for Miami against an Appalachian State team that almost knocked off Tennessee just a couple of weeks ago. College Football Scoreboard presented by Honda is coming up. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Boone, North Carolina. College Football Scoreboard presented by Honda coming up.